Writing, I really enjoyed this section because it's creative and it's totally up to you. It means that you can make as few mistakes as possible in this section. Because first of all, you are the master of your essay. If you are not sure about any structure or any grammar, you can choose not to use it. That's the beautiful part of writing. Just use what you know, write what you feel, and stick to one point. This is a very American approach. I know that post-Soviet Union countries struggle a little bit on this section because they try to look sophisticated. They try to use these great structures of so many beautiful words in it, but the reader can get lost, and that's the whole point. Writing really has to be concise and brief. So what you can do, if you are one of those people who like to write big paragraphs instead of one sentence, just shorten them up by breaking them down. Use just 3 sentences instead of 1, for example. Also, keep it simple in terms of the idea. There might be a question, what is your opinion on elevating tax level, for example? Just stick to one point saying, really, I think this is wrong, and give them 3 examples of why you think this is wrong or right, for that matter. And organize your essay like it's just 3 sections. Introduction should be, like my professor from GW was saying, tell them what you are going to tell them in the first section. Then in the second section, tell them what you are telling them, what is the main point. And the third session, you tell them what you told them before. It's really how our brains are wired. When you tell them enough, they understand. So use simple words into really maintaining one idea. I'm not saying that one idea you should just stick to it. If you have some counter arguments, for example, well, there can be advantages to this idea, but there are also disadvantages. And then in the conclusion, you can say, well, advantages outweigh the disadvantages. So these are all depending on what is your level. If you are not that sophisticated in the language or in the writing itself, don't try to be, because the better will be if it's simple and understandable, doesn't contain a lot of grammar mistakes, rather than it's trying to be a great essay on the topic, but fails to really show that your level of English is great, or your level of English is sufficient enough for you to go to the university, or for you to perform a task on your job, if that's the requirement you're taking TOEFL for. Reading is great in a sense that we are already used to reading a lot, because that's how you start with the language. I think that's the part that people usually do anyways. We read books. We start in the first class reading little passages or dialogues. So with reading, it's a bit easier. But in TOEFL, that's why it's a test. It's a bit tricky. They give you huge paragraphs to read, and they ask you maybe 5 questions, and some of them are very detailed, and you could answer them without reading the whole thing. So what I would advise, just go through the questions really fast. Try to see what they're looking for. If it's the detail, go look for the detail in the passage. If it's the overall idea, then you would be more inclined to go through the whole text to find out what's the main idea. But also keep in mind that even using just skimming skills, you can say, if there are a lot of medical words there, you can say, oh yeah, this is about health, or this is about biology. So really don't lose your time by reading the whole thing if it's not required. But if it is required by the context, go and just clarify. Also be careful about the grammar parts. I think in reading there are a lot of places where they test you on how the grammar is being used. So pay attention to those. When it comes to speaking section of the TOEFL, the same approach exists as for writing. It is keep it simple, keep it concise. You have to bear in mind that you don't have an interviewer in front of you who is going to be responding not only to you or your words, but also to the meaning, to your mimics, and etc. So really concentrate on how to make it as comprehensible as possible, meaning very simple and clear. Even the tone of your voice has to be clear. In that sense, I can advise you to record yourself sometimes. That will help you to understand how it sounds. Does it sound clear, or does it sound like you're speaking like this and you can't understand anything? So just really focus on how you sound when you do these recordings. Also, the second point is very important, that you are calm during your speaking section. So after you've done some of your previous sections, go take a break, 5 minutes break, just to come down, say thanks to yourself that you've been through certain sections, you're done with it, so now you're full of energy to speak to your interviewer. That is virtual, so you won't see anybody. But really calm yourself down, and when you're confident and peaceful, it'll be easier for you to speak. And your voice will be confident, and your thoughts will be more organized too. And that's probably the last part. Your thoughts have to be organized in a way that you maintain the certain story. You don't jump from one thing to another. You can talk about yourself and start telling them that you're a professional in project management, and then all of a sudden you say, oh, I like to dance on my weekends. Just try to organize it a bit. And especially if your tempo of the voice is slowed down and steady, it'll be easier for you to organize your thoughts. You don't have to rush and speak through it and breathe through it without any meaning. Just also, like in listening, try to draw a picture. What you are trying to describe, what you are trying to convey, what is your key message. And once you know the message, you can add certain details, certain words that you know how to pronounce very well and are very natural flowing. So in your speaking, everything will help. All those listening exercises that you've done before, all the music that you've listened to, you pick up all this vocabulary and you can use it in your speaking section. And the main point is just really keep it simple. If you're not sure about how does this word pronounced, how is pronounced, or is it the right way to say it, leave it out. Tell them something really simple. But don't go to the extreme, like in one joke that my friend told me recently. A man is in the hotel and he has a mouse in his room. So he's calling the front desk to say, oh, you know Tom and Jerry? Jerry is here. So I hope that, and I'm most definitely sure that it won't be the case with our students. And I wish you all the best. And I know for sure that TOEFL is just a test and you will pass it. Sure. I think TOEFL is one of the milestones that you have to achieve before your dream university or your dream job. So just think of that in mind. Keep that in mind. And then you'll be far more motivated. You'll say, oh, it's just a step. I passed it. And also, especially after some years pass, if you need to renew it again, keep updated. Like, keep yourself updated on what's happening, like paper-based, and then it was computer-based, and now it's internet-based, and the scores are different now, and now it's the maximum of 120, and the essay is also in the sections. Before it was a different section that was all by itself, and it scored from 1 to 6. So this type of things change. So don't lose your skills, and also keep yourself updated on the test itself. And I'm sure that the more you take it, the more chances that you pass it the next time without any difficulty. But since it's a test, it's a preparation, so be sure to prepare, and there will be no surprises. You'll pass the test, and you'll achieve your goal. Good luck.